And so there were three of us on this boat, about a 16-foot boat. And every time a boat would drive by, the waves would rock the boat, right? And you're sitting there, and it's like this boat's maybe 6 feet wide at the beam, and a wave hits you, and you're just rocking back and forth. Well, there was this one person was in the front of the boat. He was right up in the bow, and he would stand up on this platform, and like because they had kind of a platform up on the bow. Mm-hmm. And anytime a wave would hit, he would stand up, and he would, like, as the wave came in from one side, he would push his pressure down on that side to kind of level out the boat. And then he kept like countering the waves. Oh. And it went from like waves hitting us like this to nothing. Like I would barely move.
Like
right?
A counter gyroscope.
It just completely counteracted the waves. And just from the weight of one person doing this on a 16, I think this would work on a smaller boat. It completely counteracted the effect of the waves, and it was amazing. Like it made it so much more comfortable. Of course, for him, he was just having fun. He got a bit of exercise out of it. Every time a wave would come by, he'd get up, and some of these waves were huge. Some of these waves were, well, huge compared to a little 16-foot boat, mm-hmm. maybe a 3-foot tall wave from the yachts that would drive by. And he was able to counteract that by probably up to 80%. I would say something, so it was significant. So if you could have something that could counteract the effect of waves, that would fit on a smaller boat. Mm-hmm. So they do have it for large boats. Now, like a boat that goes out in the ocean, they do have it. And I don't know at some point you get a big ship or a cruise ship or something. They're just big enough. They don't need it. But then you get down to like maybe a 40-foot long boat out in the ocean, and things like a bobber just bobbing around out there. But they have counteracting like kind of systems, but I think those need to be built in. Like from what little I've seen, this would be worth kind of looking into. But so those are like big built in, and pretty good. It's not something that you're just going to go to the boat store and buy one and mount it into your own boat. So now I think, what if you could have a small one that you could mount in your own 16-foot boat?
Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking. For that to work, would it have to be centralized on the center of gravity on the boat, or would it have to be one on each edge to kind of counteract? I'm not sure how the buoyancy would work on that.
So
yeah. I was just thinking, if it's some kind of like cylinder where it has like a maybe like a pendulum type of thing, and it's just shifting the momentum opposite of the wave force.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so something like that, or a use gyroscopic force, because the problem with using something big and heavy, as in like the passenger on the boat, he was like putting all of his weight. Now that's 180 pounds of extra weight. Like say a 16-foot boat has a weight limit. This boat had 860-pound maybe weight limit or something. So add up people and gear. Well, if you add a 200-pound device, that cuts down one passenger. So what you want to do is try to minimize that weight. So a gyroscopic force is, if you take a bike tire and you spin it and get it spinning really fast and kind of hold on to the axle and try to oppose that motion, you use that force. So that tire, it doesn't need to weigh 200 pounds. Yes. You just get that motion, and you're using the acceleration to create your opposing force.
That makes sense. That'd be interesting looking into that. Mm-hmm. I'm sure. Yeah, that would be probably like a quick little prototype that you could put together.
Yeah, and that would be something like, even if you could cut back on 40% of the effect of the waves, right? It's going to make it a lot more comfortable, especially for the people who are like guided fishing or charter, some kind of people who aren't used to being on the water and they're going on a boat. They want it to be as comfortable as they can.
Yeah.
But like a fisherman who goes out all the time, he doesn't care. But of course, it would be nice to have it a little bit less wavy, but whatever.
Yeah.
And then, so still, I think the problem that you're going to have is making this thing universal, is how to securely attach it to a boat because if you have a thin walled boat, like a lot of boats, the material is pretty thin. So if you bolted through that, you don't want to rip those bolts out, right? So I mean, there's some design to be done, but it could be done. And then it may not be something that could be done at home. It might be something that needs to be installed by a specialist of some kind.
Yeah.
But as long as it can be attached to almost any boat, that's okay.
Well,
so that, you know.
yeah. Well, I mean, I was even just thinking like proof of concept on the same little platform that the guy was standing on, just like literally just putting it on there and clamping it to it, and just seeing what that does.
It would be interesting to see. Yeah. So, and what you would do is you would just have to have like a, get a little programmed board. You could run it off of an Arduino or something, or, program this thing and give it some form of like, I don't know, accelerometer, or like I don't know what the instrument would be that measures, like kind of like a plumb bob, of sorts, that knows which way is vertical.
Yeah.
And it just reacts according to that. So a couple of servo motors, a little Arduino, and
just like
some sensors.
Predict, to invert or counteract the wave.
Yeah, and this counteracts waves that come to the side of the boat and make you rock back and forth, but not so much waves that would come to the front of the boat and make the whole boat like, get this, not this kind of motion. It's only the side to side motion, right?
Just like
but that's the side to side is the kind of annoying one.
Yeah. Gotcha. I mean, that'd be cool. I don't know too much about the industry, but I think that would be doable.